Powerful people don't hate you. They don't fight you. They don't warn you. They do something far more dangerous. They quietly remove you from their world. And today, I'll expose the one behavior that makes them do it. Instantly. Once you see it, you'll never act the same again. In every room there are people who rise, and people who are never invited back. Not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because they unknowingly display a behavior powerful people interpret as a liability. Power doesn't argue. Power doesn't explain. Power avoids. Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago, and today it's more relevant than ever. If influential people seem distant, if doors quietly close, this chapter will show you why. Welcome to the Prince's Doctrine. Here is the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Powerful people decide your fate before you finish speaking. Not consciously, not emotionally, instinctively. They are trained by survival, betrayal, and competition to detect danger, weakness, and liability at a glance. And no, the danger isn't aggression, it isn't ambition, it isn't confidence. The real danger is something society praises, something teachers reward, something parents encourage, something moral culture worships. And that is why it works so well. Every powerful individual runs an internal filter. It asks only one question. Will this person strengthen my position or weaken it? Not are they kind, not are they fair, not are they honest. Those qualities are irrelevant at the top. What matters is predictability, emotional exposure, and dependency. And here is the behavior that fails the test. Over-availability of the self, not time. Not help. Your inner world, your emotions, your intentions, your morality, your need to be understood. When you reveal too much, too fast. When you explain yourself before being questioned. When you seek approval instead of space. You signal something fatal. You signal that you cannot contain yourself. And power avoids people who leak. History makes this brutally clear. Consider Louis XVI of France. He was not cruel. He was not unintelligent. He was not incompetent. He was open. He revealed uncertainty. He tried to be liked. He explained his intentions. And because of that, every faction around him knew exactly where he stood and how to exploit him. The nobility maneuvered. The revolutionaries advanced. The king hesitated, not because he lacked authority, but because he exposed his inner conflict. Power doesn't fall when it's challenged. Power falls when it becomes readable. You've been taught this lie since childhood. Be honest, be open, be yourself. But no one tells you when, or with whom, or at what cost. Powerful people learned the hard way that early honesty is not trust. It's exposure. When you reveal your fears, your struggles, your insecurities, your moral boundaries, you think you're building connection. But power hears something else. This person will hesitate. This person will explain instead of act. This person needs reassurance. And need is dangerous. Society wants stability. Power wants leverage. Society rewards compliance. Power rewards control. Society tells you, speak your truth. Show vulnerability. Be fair. Be transparent. Because society needs predictable citizens. But power operates in environments where information is weaponized, emotion is exploited, morality is negotiated. This is why good people feel confused. They did everything right and still got sidelined because they followed social rules, not power rules. Here's how it happens in real life. You're invited once, then less, then not at all. Messages slow down, opportunities disappear, conversations stay polite, but shallow. No confrontation, no explanation, just distance. Not because you offended, but because you revealed something too early, a hesitation, a need to be liked, a moral rigidity, an emotional leak. Power didn't judge you. It categorized you. Look at Niccolo Machiavelli himself. He was not powerful because he was ruthless alone. He was powerful because he observed silently. He understood that those who speak too openly become tools for those who listen quietly. In The Prince, he warned, men judge more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see, but few can feel. What he meant was simple. If people can see your inner world, they will shape their actions around it, and those actions will not benefit you. This is the most brutal part. Power will never tell you what you did wrong. Why would it? Correcting you gives you power. Explaining gives you leverage. So instead, power withdraws, coldly, silently, permanently, and the weak mistake this for mystery. The strong recognize it as judgment. If this feels uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is awareness, breaking through conditioning. You were not rejected because you lacked value. You were avoided because you revealed value without control. And power respects only those who can contain themselves. Now you see the sin. But awareness is not immunity. We will go deeper into why power doesn't just avoid this behavior. It actively protects itself from people who display it. And once you understand that, you'll realize the game was never about being good. It was about being contained. Here's the first illusion you must destroy. Powerful people are not emotional decision makers. They don't reject you because they feel offended. They don't distance themselves because they're insecure. They don't cut you off because they're cruel. They distance themselves because you introduce risk. And power's primary instinct is not dominance. It is preservation. At high levels, one mistake doesn't cost embarrassment. It costs empires, reputations, alliances, and survival. So, power becomes paranoid, not loudly, quietly. The second you emotionally overexpose yourself, something subtle happens. You stop being seen as a person. You become a variable, a psychological variable that can be predicted, be pressured, be morally trapped, be emotionally influenced. And power does not keep unstable variables close. It isolates them, because predictable people are not allies. They are future problems. This is a rule no one teaches you. Weak emotional patterns are contagious. Powerful people understand this instinctively. They know that emotional need invites manipulation. Moral rigidity creates conflict. Excessive transparency creates leverage, and leverage is dangerous when it's not yours. This is why powerful people limit proximity, not because they fear you, but because your psychology can spread. Consider Napoleon Bonaparte's inner circle, not his enemies, but his confidants. Napoleon did not surround himself with the most loyal. He surrounded himself with the most contained. Those who spoke only when necessary, hid personal ambition, revealed nothing emotional. The moment a general became emotionally expressive, morally outspoken, or predictably loyal, they were removed, not executed, not humiliated, reassigned, isolated, forgotten. Because emotional clarity creates future opposition. You've been taught that honesty builds trust. Power knows better. Trust is not built through truth. It is built through time and controlled ambiguity. When you reveal your fears, your values, your limits, you believe you're being authentic, but power hears. Here is where I hesitate. Here is where I stop. Here is where I can be cornered. That is not trust. That is strategic exposure. Here is where most people fail. They confuse trust with access. Trust is earned slowly, under pressure, over time. Access is given instantly by the naive. Power grants neither easily. When you give access to your inner world too early, you haven't built intimacy, you've lowered your value. Because what is rare is respected, and what is freely given is ignored. This part makes people uncomfortable. Power does not fear immorality. It fears rigid morality. Why? Because rigid moral people become unpredictable under pressure. Break alliances when values are tested. Expose systems when loyalty is required. Power cannot afford moral surprises. So, when you loudly signal, "I would never do that. I always believe in fairness. I stand for honesty above all." Power hears. This person will fracture when it matters most. And fractures are dangerous. Now comes the most painful truth. Power will never say, "You shared too much. You revealed weakness. You became predictable." Why? Because correction benefits you. And power only invests in those it has already chosen. Everyone else is observed, categorized, and quietly avoided. No closure, no feedback, no second chance. Look at elite corporate environments. Promotions don't go to the most honest. They don't go to the most emotional. They don't go to the most morally vocal. They go to those who speak less, reveal nothing personal, control reactions, never explain themselves unnecessarily. Those who vent get sidelined. Those who confess get stuck. Those who overshare get managed, not elevated. Not because they're bad, but because they're readable. Here's the rule nobody escapes. Power rarely updates its judgment. Once you are classified as emotionally open, approval-seeking, morally loud, predictable, you are done. Power doesn't revisit, it replaces. And that's why trying harder never works. Explaining never helps. Being nicer only worsens it. You're solving the wrong problem. Conflict can be resolved. Avoidance cannot. If power fights you, you matter. If power argues with you, you're relevant. If power negotiates with you, you're valuable. But when power avoids you, you've already lost access. Silently, cleanly, without appeal. This leaves you with a hard realization. Power does not care about who you are. It cares about what you signal. And signals are permanent. That's why powerful people appear distant. That's why they say little. That's why they never explain. They are not arrogant. They are contained. Now you understand the danger, not of being weak, but of being exposed. In the next chapter, we end illusion completely. You will learn how to seal your inner world, control perception, shift from readable to respected, because power doesn't respond to effort. It responds to containment. And once you master that, power doesn't avoid you anymore. It watches. Here is the final truth most people never reach. Power does not reward hard work. Power does not reward honesty. Power does not reward good intentions. Power rewards self-control. Not discipline you show. Discipline you withhold. Because the most dangerous person in any room is not the loudest, not the strongest, not the smartest. It is the one whose inner world is sealed. The moment you feel the urge to explain, stop. Explanation is a confession of psychological weakness. When you explain, you admit insecurity, you seek validation, you reveal internal conflict. Power hears only one message. This person needs to be understood, and those who need to be understood cannot command respect. Power respects those who act, not those who clarify. Silence after action is dominance. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates projection, and projection creates power. When you speak less, others fill the gaps. Others guess your motives. Others adjust their behavior. This is not manipulation. This is perception control. Power never explains its intentions. It lets others reveal theirs. Most people misunderstand emotional control. They think it means becoming cold. It doesn't. It means becoming unreadable. You can feel everything: fear, anger, ambition, desire. But none of it reaches your face. None of it leaks into your voice. None of it enters the room before you decide it should. That is not repression. That is command. Anger is predictable. Excitement is readable. Anxiety is exploitable. Calm is none of these. Calm forces others to adjust their tone. Calm slows conversations. Calm signals authority without threat. That is why powerful people speak slowly, why they pause, why they let silence linger. They are not thinking. They are watching. When people can't read you, they do three things. They become cautious. They become curious. They become respectful. Readability invites control. Ambiguity creates distance. Distance creates authority. This is why powerful people reveal opinions late, commit slowly, react minimally. They never give away their position early. They force others to move first. Approval seeking is the most expensive addiction. It makes you talk too much, agree too quickly, reveal too early. Strategic presence is the opposite. You enter a room with fewer words, fewer reactions, fewer explanations. You do not try to be liked. You allow yourself to be assessed. And assessment creates tension. Tension creates respect. This shift is subtle. People don't compliment you. They don't announce it. They don't explain it. They slow down around you. They choose words carefully. They stop testing boundaries. You notice fewer invitations, but higher quality ones. Fewer conversations, but more serious ones. Power doesn't chase you. It recalculates you. Look at Talleyrand, the French diplomat who survived monarchy, revolution, empire, and restoration. He never revealed loyalty, never showed outrage, never explained intentions. Kings fell. Governments collapsed. He remained. Not because he was loved, but because he was contained. Power does not destroy what it cannot read. Speed is emotional. Slowness is strategic. Fast replies signal need. Fast decisions reveal pressure. Fast emotions show cracks. Slow responses signal independence. Slow agreement signals leverage. Slow emotion signals control. Power moves slowly because it can afford to. You must learn the same posture, even before you earn it. This is where it ends. Not with domination, not with manipulation, not with cruelty, but with presence. You no longer chase respect, seek understanding, offer explanations. You observe, you respond selectively, you remain sealed, and something changes. Power stops avoiding you. It watches you, because it no longer knows where you stand. And what power cannot predict, it must respect. Remember this: the world is not ruled by the loud. It is not ruled by the honest. It is not ruled by the emotional. It is ruled by those who can contain themselves, while others reveal everything. Once you master that, you don't need to demand respect. Your silence does it for you.